Welcome, everybody. And give me about 20 seconds. Let's play our regular splash video and then we will start the episode. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. So on tonight's episode, hold on one second. Let me see if I can get the lighting in here a little tiny bit better. That probably won't last very long, but we'll see. Tonight's episode is kind of a continuation of what I've been doing over on the gram of Insta, which has been actually counting how many tarot decks I have. And it is, and I thought I was done with part 4, 111 tarot decks and all types of decks. It's not just tarot. So there's oracle decks, there's tarot decks, there's Lenormand decks, there's charm casting. And so I thought my count was at 111. And then I'm just like thinking, in my mental filing cabinet, well, where's this deck that I've used that I love? Well, where's this deck? And I realized, oh, nope, I'm still coming across decks in my clean out. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And it is going to help me to update my list that I have on my website on my tarot deck collection so that you all know which decks are available to be read from. Basically, knowing which decks I have helps you as a client decide which deck you'd like to be read with if you have a preference, or you can always let me decide for you. I'm happy to do that based on intuition and personal experience and what your past preference is. If you are a regular client of mine, what you've gone with in the past and what I think would work best for the particular reading for the topic that you're asking about. Yeah. So, Liz is here. Hello, Liz. Welcome. So funny that Liz actually just texted me as I was getting ready, and she's like, "Hey, you want to go live?" And I'm just like, "Well, I have my live show that happens every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time." And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'll come watch." Yes, you are correct, Stephanie. That is years of decks of the month. That is correct. Because I've been doing this professionally for the last 20 years. I haven't been. I've gotten to the point in my tarot career now where different tarot deck publishers are sending me decks and giving me reviewer copies, which I so appreciate. But that took some time. That really did take some time to get to that point in my career. So it's it's a very nice fringe benefit, basically, to doing the work that I do. And I'm always happy to be very transparent about that. If I've received a deck, a reviewer copy of a deck, it is ethical of the person that's reviewing it to disclose that information, that, hey, I received this for free. This is not something that I bought out of pocket. I did, in fact, I either purchased it myself or the publisher contacted me to ask me, would I like a reviewer copy of said deck? I don't know if my hair is going to stay down tonight because it is hot as balls here in New York. I don't know about you guys, but it is very, very warm. And by the way, Liz is saying, you look so pretty. I have false eyelashes on right now, and I'm not really familiar with falsies. The only ones I've ever done before, and this was like a pandemic purchase. But by the way, we have an episode on my pandemic purchases. it's Moxie Lash, and they're magnetic. So there's no like eyelash glue or anything else. It's the eyeliner itself has magnetism in them, and then there's like little magnetic boops along the lashes so that it just attaches that way. So they're probably they might be a little bit kaflooey right now, but yeah, let me see if I got them straight. Yeah, I did pretty much get them straight. I went on a kick on Moxie Lash during the pandemic. So this one I'm using the natural kit, which comes with 3 pairs of magnetic lashes, liquid magnetic liner, and the applicator. I don't use the applicator because it's just like tweezers and stuff, and I just use my fingers. But yeah, there you go. I'm using the top ones here, but I figured I would like tart myself up for you guys because why not? Um, yes. And Katie is here. Hello, Katie. Soon it will be another auspicious number, maybe 222, maybe. So we did end off on the collection at 111. And I, on purpose, had my workhorse deck as the 111th deck. And then I'm still continuing to do my summer and spring and summer cleaning. And so I just went into the hallway where I still have some boxes from our move. And I know that's like ridiculous considering we moved like 3 years ago. So there's still boxes to be undone. But I happened across more decks, and I just went, "Oh, are you kidding me?" It's a good problem to have, guys. But like, I was just like, I thought I was done. But I knew in the back of my mind, I knew I was done because I'm just like, where is like the Way of Bridget Oracle, which is a deck that I frequently use? Where is this Visconti Sforza Tarot, which I know that I have because I went to the Morgan Library and we got that at the gift shop. My husband bought that for me. Like, where are these decks that are like a little bit newer to my collection, but still there? And then like oldies but goodies, like the Game of Thrones tarot I came across. So part 5, which I did not do on camera, guys, I did it, in the space of my living room with the windows wide open and like an ice pack on my neck, just pulling out decks and organizing them. Like 112 was the Bonefire Tarot, because I know I had the Bonefire Tarot because I found the guidebook for the Bonefire Tarot, but I didn't know where the deck was. But clearly, like I have the deck. If I have the guidebook, I have the deck, and vice versa. So, and Fran is here as well. Hello, Fran. Stephanie says, I love magnetic lashes. I'm allergic to regular eyelash glue. Swollen eyes aren't very sexy. No, I agree. They're not very sexy. And I'm just a little bit klutzy. So like everything I know about makeup, I've had to learn for myself. I had a very strict father. Like, he wasn't as strict when I was like a child, but like when I became a teenager, he became very, very strict. And so I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I think I might have done it anyway. Like, sorry, Dad. I mean, like, my dad knows he's passed away. It was just a very strange thing to be strict about. So I didn't really learn makeup until I was in my 20s. And I think my gateway into makeup was, if you guys are familiar with Bare Minerals and Bare Essentials, it was a very like as seen on TV kind of thing, but they were selling a starter kit in Sephora, and I'm just like, oh, cool. So yeah. I love your little notebook, papaya art. So where I got my incense from, like they also have stationery and cards and everything. So this is the legal pad, the lovely legal pad. And it has the quote, the magic of beginnings. And then suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust in the magic of new beginnings, by Meister Eckhart. So that's what I've been using to track my my tarot decks. Here are the lists, the listicles, and part 1 through 41 I put on the notepad on my phone. So, so we've got 1 through 41. We've got part 2, 42 through 60. Part 3 was 61 through 69. Giggity. Um, no, part 3 was more than that. Sorry, this is like part 3 was. Oh, part 3 was 61 through 90. And then part 4 was 91 through 111. And then part 5 is here, 112 through 125. And that may or may not be the last one. I don't know, man. We're going to keep on tracking it as best as I can. So, Fran says, I never knew there was such a thing as magnetic false eyelashes. Now you know. Yeah, so Moxie Lash, I don't know if they're still in business. I hope they are. I just happened to do this on a whim because I'm just like, I wonder if the lashes still work. The liquid magnetic liner, because sometimes liquid liners will dry up after a while. So you do have to their makeup does in fact have an expiration date. I think Melissa and I were both talking about that, where it's just like, oh yeah, I guess so. There's a little, if you look carefully, yeah, I'm not gonna, there's a little almost like palette, like jar on every, like a little symbol on every piece of makeup. And then it gives you, 3M, 6M, 1 year, and it tells you basically what the expiration date of said thing is. Which I, duly ignore. Like, yeah, this is 12 months for my Naked 3 Urban Decay palette. And yeah, that's do as do do as I say, not as I do. Right? Stephanie says, oh, yes, I used Bare Minerals back in the early 2000s, too. Yeah, I mean, they're a really great company. Bare Minerals, Bare Essentials, they are still in business. Some of my favorite products are from them, especially their mineral powder. Yeah, I think it's Mineral Veil is one of the ones that they have. Where is my other light? I'm going to see if I can light myself in a different way here. Not that that's the point of tonight's episode, but the Mineral Veil had this lovely blurring kind of effect. It was almost like airbrushing in a way, or like photoshopping in a way, but on your actual face. It was so nice, and I think I still have some somewhere or other. But that's another thing that I have to go through. Not just my tarot deck collection, but also my makeup collection. Going through it, throwing things out that needs to be thrown out. Going through all my lipsticks. Yeah. So, I would say my makeup journey, I started late, but I made up for lost time. And I learned everything, just from online tutorials and also what I thought looked best. So, Katie says my dad wouldn't let me wear makeup, and my mom was a big makeup person. So it was an interesting journey. Yeah. I feel like my dad was very strict and my mom was very loose in their parenting style. So it made me feel very what do I do? I felt like I was always in trouble for things that I shouldn't have been in trouble for, that were just a normal product of being a teenager, especially a girl. All of the things that went along with girlhood and weirdness. And it's just of course I'm not going to disclose certain medical stuff to my dad if it was odd. So yeah, I got in trouble for a lot of things that I really probably should not have gotten in trouble for, just for being a girl child and the youngest. My dad was really good with us as kids, but I don't think he was very good at parenting teenagers. Let's just say that. Yeah. So Katie's saying interesting journey. Once my dad died when I was 15, out came the full makeup. My mom said she had been dying to get mascara onto my blonde eyelashes. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you have like blonde eyelashes, you might as well not have any eyelashes, or at least that's kind of like what happens, or so I've heard. I have eyelashes, but I have black eyelashes, but they're very sparse. And I swear, like, I want to choke out my husband when I watch him sleep sometimes, because he has these just like beautiful, like, oh, his beautiful full lashes, like resting on his cheek as he sleeps. And I just want to like strangle him, because that's just what his lashes naturally are. And it's just like, they're no good to him. Like, give me some, please. Yeah. Yeah, kind of like spices in the kitchen cabinet. It's just like, is there really an expiration date for spices? I'm sure yes. I'm sure the answer is yes, but like, can we kind of wave that, it just like, yeah, it still tastes good, fine, still works fine. I mean, like, I will say with makeup though, like, do check your expiration dates, do abide by them, relatively speaking. And if you're not going to, if you're going to use like a makeup palette or an eyeshadow palette that you know to be older than the expiration date, that's pretty much all of mine. Supposedly you can use like, put a little, like, not antibacterial spray, but I'm sure there's something that like makeup artists use to basically like clean off that top layer, so that you can still use it past the expiration date. Anyway, that was a very long detour. So yeah, the point of tonight's episode was just talking a little bit more about my tarot deck collection, and also talking to you guys about, like, are there particular decks that I can probably grab out of the archives now that I know that I have them or I didn't give them away. Like, for example, I know that I don't have a copy of the Deviant Moon tarot deck because I put it onto the swap table at Reader Studio years ago, and it didn't even make it to the swap table. It just, like, someone saw me putting it down and took it out of my hands, knowing that the intention was that I was going to put it on the swap table. So I'm just like, oh, here, like, do you want, like, yes, I am putting it onto the swap table. You don't feel like you're like taking it from me, but here, go ahead. It's just like, use it in good health, because I love Patrick Valenza's art. I think he's a very, very talented artist, but Deviant Moon creeped me the fuck out. I can't lie about that. It did. So, but maybe I'll look into some of his other tarot decks or oracle decks. But at that particular time, it was not speaking to me, and it was kind of creeping me out a little bit. So, that's the reason why I put it onto the swap table. And that's a good thing about, like, certain conferences. You can like or different, like, I guess, a book of face groups where you can do tarot deck swaps, where it's just like, hey, this deck is really not speaking to me. Let me see if somebody else will enjoy it, and let me see if maybe there's a deck that they don't enjoy that I might enjoy. But you're not going to know until you try it. That's also another reason why I like to do the unboxing videos that I've been doing over the past, I don't know, 6 years that I've been doing this live stream. Though I don't think I've done unboxing videos for tarot decks and oracle decks the entirety of the 6 years that I've been live streaming here, because I just didn't think to do that. I don't know why, but I'm glad that I did start doing them, because there is sometimes a deterrent, a financial deterrent to buying certain decks, and you don't want to buy a deck and then realize, oh, the art isn't what I was thinking of, and now what do I do? It's not like I've never returned a tarot deck, but it's just like, can you even return a tarot deck? I'm sure people have tried, but it's just like, it's not necessarily what people, if it's not necessarily a deck that you were you expected one thing and you got another thing with the tarot deck. Like, that's part of the reason why I started doing the unboxing videos, so that I could show you at the very least the major arcana, and so that you can see, oh, like the magician looks like this. Like, does that vibe with my understanding of the magician tarot card? Is that how I read? And then you can make a more informed decision about whether or not you do want to purchase that particular tarot deck or oracle deck or Lenormand deck. So Stephanie says, I've recently purged a few of mine and passed them on to specific friends I thought would enjoy those decks. Yeah, exactly. You know, like if you know your friends and you know your friends' taste, and you know they're interested in learning tarot, or whether it's to read for other people or just as a personal practice for themselves, you know, that's a really nice gift. And, you know, you can give your tarot decks away. There's no shame in doing that. And then there's some people that will then cleanse it, or, you know, in the case of Sophia, speaking of Sophia, hello, Sophia. Finished teaching early today. Awesome. Well, it's so nice to see you. It's been a while. So in the case of Sophia, Sophia, I believe, did a video on not cleansing used tarot decks. Like, if she happened to get a tarot deck secondhand, you know, the general recommendation is to cleanse it. And I do have a couple of videos on the gram of Insta about how to cleanse a tarot deck, different ways you can do so. But, you know, Sophia's opinion is, I kind of like to, I don't want to cleanse away that energy, because maybe that is what attracted me to that particular deck. So yeah, I will sell indie decks. Issue. I will sell indie decks. Issue is most of my tarot friends own the mass market decks I have. Gotcha. Understandable. Yeah. Sophia said, I did about 1,000 years ago. LOL. Well, you know, that's the good thing about putting things out on the internet. Like, most of the time it sticks around. So you can always check out Sophia's channel. I believe it's Benevolent Corvus. But Sophia, please put that into the chat so people can, so I can display it so people can go and check out that video. Yeah, if it feels, see, that's a good caveat though. If it feels gross, I will cleanse, but otherwise I will try a deck first without cleansing first. Makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, are there any particular decks out of the last, because I don't know if any of you checked out those that count. Parts 1 through 4 are on my my gram of Insta at Tarot by Hilary, of course, which is where most of my social media platform accounts are at Tarot by Hilary, Hilary with 1 L. Just like Sophia is Benevolent Corvus in all of the places. Yeah. Right, exactly. Though I'm moving back to the UK, so admittedly fairly inactive in all of those places. You know, fair enough. Fair enough. But it's still there. It's still there for people to get a little bit of a tarot education, you know. Yeah, so parts 1 through, gosh, the 4th one, I think I put part 4 onto my Tube of You channel. So you can go ahead and check that out. So that's 90 to 111, including my workhorse tarot decks, which would be the Reflective Tarot and the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. Those are my workhorse decks. But I'm always very willing, if I can put my hand to it, of course, I'm always willing to take a client's suggestion into account, or it's just like, oh, I really liked the Light Seers Tarot. Do you think I could have my reading done with that one? And of course the answer is yes. If you're feeling particularly attracted to a tarot deck that I featured before, or even if you know that I have it in my collection, I'm happy to read from it, because every tarot deck that I have in my collection, I know how to read with. Now, there are some caveats, of course. Like, for example, Lenormand, I'm still, after years of studying Lenormand, I am still a little bit shaky on Lenormand because it's such a different divination system to tarot. My tarot reading brain. Hold on, let me see if I can make this brighter. There. Aha. So my tarot reading brain sometimes cannot turn off, and I will start to have tarot brain creep into Lenormand, and then I always have to bring it back to, as Rana George says in both her class that she taught at Reader Studio and in her book, The Essential Lenormand. What's the question? Like, bring it back to the question. Like, that's like, it's such good advice, because when tarot starts taroting, sometimes you get into the weeds and you get into motivation, and then it's just like, oh, my question is about business, but it's just like, okay, well, the cards are indicating to talk about your love life. It's just like, oh, but I really wanted to talk about finances. And it's just like, yeah, but tarot wants to talk about this first. So sometimes you will get that with a tarot reading, but you're not going to get that with a Lenormand reading if you're actually using Lenormand in the way it's supposed to be used, in that structure and that divination system, in the way it's supposed to be used. Okay, Sophia, once I'm not spinning, I will post more. I'll hold you to that. Yeah, Sorcery Underground is also the ultimate wild card for clients. Yes, and I did mention about the Sorcery Underground. I think that was on list. Of course, now I set up my lights and then I put my lists underneath those lights. Hold, please. There we go. So yeah, Sorcery Underground was, I think, on part 3. I definitely counted it, because what happened was, like, I took out the decks and then I had just like a bevy of decks. And then I'm just like, okay, in order to not repeat, besides like creating a spreadsheet to make sure I'm not repeating the count and bolstering the amount, the final number, more than it needs to be bolstered, I put all of my decks that I had already counted into the Tupperware that's right next to me. So Sorcery Underground is definitely in there. I put it in my Ipsy bag that has like a magical seal on it. So I think that was that 90? Was that part 4? Huh. It might have been in part 1. I'm not sure, but I could have sworn Sorcery Underground was on there somewhere. It definitely was not in part 5. Scorpio C. Maybe it was in part 1. Thought I had mentioned it. Pretty sure I did. Anyway, Sorcery Underground is like fantastic, and it is the ultimate wild card for clients. And as Sophia, oh, I didn't even see it. Thank you. Trying to catch a spammer, but they haven't commented yet. I can't even see it. So Sorcery Underground, which Sophia, damn her, mentioned to me, recommended it to me, and so now I will recommend it to other people. It's an excellent deck on its own, but it's also, you can soften or you can sharpen another tarot deck or another divination system by adding in the Sorcery Underground fortune telling kit. So that's not a tarot deck. It's a combination of tarot, Lenormand, and playing cards. So that is a very, very interesting deck. And I actually brought that to a Halloween party when I was doing a private event, and people really, really liked that one. They were just like, oh, like that's a little sharp. That's a little sassy. And I'm just like, and I warned people too. So normally what I do is I will put out at least 3 decks. And I will say, okay, just like you can feel, like, just wave your hand over these decks And if you feel like a heat signature or something like then that's the deck you should be read from. Or you can pick them up and you can turn them over and you can look at the imagery. That's fine too. Because I kind of want to keep it like fast, especially for a private event when I have a lot of people wanting readings. I want to make sure that everyone gets a reading. There's no guarantee that everyone will get a tarot reading at an event like that, depending on how many people there are, because you never know, even when the host knows vaguely what the head count is and their friend group, like how many people are going to really want a reading and how many people are going to be like, stay as far away from me as possible. there's no real middle ground for tarot reading most of the time. When people hear what I do for a living, there's either extreme interest or no in betweens there. So what was I saying? So yeah, even when you have a vague idea of the head count and how many people are going to be read, or how many people will want readings, that number typically does start to go up as the night goes on, because people are like coming back from their readings and saying like, oh, she was really good, or she's like, she told me about X, Y, and Z. I didn't tell her anything, and she said blah 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 blah. She's really accurate, and just like, it's not scary, like she's not going to tell you anything that you don't already know on some level. Like you should go. Then people start to like get their courage, either liquid courage or or courage from seeing other people that have had the reading, and then they'll start to line up, and then I'm going to be like, oh, like I only have time for however many people left. So but yeah, putting Sorcery Underground into the rotation, especially for Halloween parties, that was interesting. Some very interesting readings. All right. Um, so like from part 2, we had like the Meraki Tarot, which is a very natural animal based deck. I liked the Meraki Tarot for not just that, and not just its card stock, but also the fact that it had oracle cards within it. I wish more tarot deck creators did this, where it's either like putting in a yes and a no card, so that like as it comes up in the like, and there's definitely ways to ask yes or no questions of the tarot and to ascertain what's a yes, what's a no. It's not the best tool for that, I will admit. It's more about motivations and like, more subconscious motivation, the hows, the whys. Not great for yes or no questions, but you certainly can ask a yes or no question of the tarot, but it's usually going to be yes, and here's why it's a yes, or no, and here's why it's a no. So, but for the Meraki Tarot, it has 8, I think, oracle cards as a part of the tarot deck. And I'm pretty sure 2 out of the 8 cards are yes and no. And then there were also different cards like apathy, reclusiveness. I can't remember what the other ones are, but like I really liked that. And especially when I was working with a client, I used the Meraki Tarot with them. And there was just a question that they kept on asking and asking and asking. And it was just like, okay, no, we can ask the cards one more time. And then of course, like the card that came out was just no. And I'm just like, okay, so the fact that you're getting the no card may not be a no to your question, but it might be a sign to stop asking. Yeah, Katie, tarot reader is either, oh yes, please, or devil spawn. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, like, is there any other questions that I can answer about my tarot deck collection? And is there I'm gonna include the original list in the chat just so you guys can see it. You can go to it after the after the episode is over, or actually I can show it on screen. But this is prior to me counting. And this was like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago that I did that particular article. So yeah, exactly. Dump him. If you're familiar with that meme where the tarot cards are spelling out dump him, yeah, kind of. Definitely got that vibe. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So my intention, not just from not just from collection. That might not be the right no. All right, I'll find it. My intention for doing this was not necessarily to update that list, but it's kind of turned into updating that list, considering, I am doing that count. Like, it started as I need to clean, then it turned into, okay, this is the number one question that I get asked is, how many tarot decks do you own? And my tongue-in-cheek answer was, oh, I don't want to, I don't know, because I don't want to count and find out just how many I have. And so now I have counted, and the running count so far is 125. And then it turned into, so it's like that, then how many tarot decks do you have? Then, oh, I can update my tarot card collection, the list that I have on my website, so that I can show my clients or my prospective clients, here are the tarot decks that I have that I can read from. That also is including oracle cards. It's also including Lenormand, Kipper, charm casting. I don't know if I'm going to throw my spirit board on there, because I don't really use my spirit board with clients. So I'm probably not going to put it on there. I mean, I definitely do have it. Yeah. So let me find this. Yeah. Sophia, dump him or madam, I implore you. No middle. Correct. Exactly. My tarot deck library. That was the wrong, behind the scenes, my tarot deck library. Continue reading. I should probably update the permalink on this so it makes it a little bit more palatable to find. I like how you're phrasing that, Sophia. I definitely have cracked 200, but I've been clean off tarot cards since December. Fountain pens, don't ask me. Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, this is the article that I'm referring to, that I will be updating based on the current counts due to my spring and summer cleaning. But it's behind the scenes, my tarot deck library. I'm not sure when I publish this. Hold on, I can probably give a sense of it. Yeah, it is. It's 11 years ago. Has to have been 11 years ago, because my comment section was still open at that time. And one of the first comments was March 2nd of 2015 from Benabel Wen, who is the author of Holistic Tarot, which I did also review on my website. So yeah, so this list that I'm pointing to is from 11 years ago, 2015. So, yeah, what was my intro to this? Oh, and I just, by the way, I jumped in to this episode and we didn't even do the astro-weather. Do you guys want to do the astro-weather? It's been a little bit hinky. Hold that thought. We just jumped right in, and I didn't even do the astro-weather at all. I apologize. Wow, guys. All right. So the AstroBiz Digest is Teresa Reed's wonderful subscription, astrology in layman's terms, straight to your email inbox. It is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I have found it to be incredibly helpful in planning both my professional life as a tarot reader and my personal life. Again, $99 for a year-long subscription, astrology in layman's terms, straight to your email inbox. Fantastic. Yes, exactly. And like, no, Sophia, you didn't miss it because I was running my fucking mouth. Of course I was running my mouth. Why wouldn't I? All right. So the link is in the chat. I'm also going to just display that here, thetarolady.com/astrobiz digest to get a copy for yourself. Yeah, just running my mouth, just having a good old time. Okay, so what I usually do is I do like the main transits of over the week, and then I get into the nitty gritty for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So yeah, it's kind of a woo. Stop me, guys. If I start to like go on a tangent, stop me and be like, hey, Hilary. Hi, hello. Excuse me. Is this mic on? Excuse me. Can you please do the astrology? Yes, I can. All right. So this week, June 8th to the 14th, my darlings, my tarot chickadees, the cosmos has plenty going on this week. The magic begins when Venus enters Leo on the 13th, so that would be tomorrow. This is for big time visibility and loud PR. How do you balance that with Mercury in Cancer? Be bold and colorful, but keep empathy on speed dial. You can be a larger than life presence while still maintaining a tender-hearted approach. You've got until July 9th to max this out. So from the 13th to July 9th, Venus is in Leo. So you can be bold, colorful, be visible, loud PR, but don't forget to have a tender heart because Mercury in Cancer. Got it? Good. All right. New moon in Gemini on the 14th, so that will be on Sunday, is superb for new writing projects, marketing campaigns, and literary launches. It's also your perfect lunation to sign up for new classes, purchase new books, and initiate meetings. Not a bad day to sign contracts either. All right. So big stuff going on. So let's get into the nitty gritty. For Friday, today, June 12th, the Moon Mercury sextile at 10:26 a.m. is stellar for meetings, negotiations, and public relations. A well-organized PR campaign could bring in plenty of green. Keep it going when the Moon conjuncts Mars at 2:37 p.m. A strong ongoing PR push helps line your pockets. So today, Friday, June 12th, is a power day for Taurus and a weekday for Scorpio. All right, for Saturday and Sunday, Venus squares Chiron 1:24 a.m. on Saturday. This tender aspect means you'll need to practice great care when dealing with the public all weekend long. It's not the time for brutal marketing or pushy conversations. Think gentle. Venus enters Leo at 6:47 a.m., which we just talked about. At 9:06 a.m., the moon skips into Gemini, your best lunation for writing, learning, cleaning out the inbox, and hosting meetings. Up your PR and pitch the media when the moon sextiles Venus at 9:18 a.m. The response should be favorable if you do so. Host a team meeting at 1:31 p.m. when the moon aligns with Uranus. You can solve problems, offer feedback, and conjure new ideas together. Imagination soars when the moon sextiles Neptune at 3:51 p.m. If you're in the middle of a creative writing sesh, keep going. Powerful and productive conversations are possible when the moon trines Pluto at 5:18 p.m. Negotiating over dinner, yes, please. Sunday brings a new moon in Gemini at 10:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so like late on Sunday. We already talked about that. Other than that, Sunday is free and clear for writing or whatever it is you want to do. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, are power days for Gemini and weekdays for Sagittarius. Yeah. Sophia says, "Oh, okay, I'm working all weekend at my receptionist job. Hopefully it's not too bad." No, no, it should be fine. So just tender, Venus squaring Chiron, just great care in dealing with the public. Don't be pushy, but just gentle. Just gentle. Make sure people are sensitive in their fifis this weekend. So just keep that in mind. Katie says, my Venus return will be following Teresa Reed's. My Venus return will be following Teresa Reed's The Book of Astrological Returns to do a reading for myself. Yes, that's a fantastic idea. Yeah, keep in mind that Teresa is not just, yes, she is the tarot lady, but obviously we know that she is a great astrologer as well because of the AstroBiz Digest that I feature every week. But also keep in mind that she has a new book on astrological returns. So the most popular return that everyone seems to know about is the Saturn return. And there is also an excellent book on Saturn returns called the Little Book of Saturn Returns by Eliza Einhorn, I believe. Or Einhorn. Fantastic book if you want to learn about your Saturn return, which happens, if you're lucky, 3 times in your lifetime. However, the reason why Teresa wrote this book, the Book of Astrological Returns, is we have so many more things than just our Saturn return. And she was looking for a comprehensive one-stop shop for that kind of information, and she couldn't find it. So what happens when we cannot find what we are looking for? We end up creating it for ourselves, and then other people can then benefit from that. Sophia says, can they stay home, please? What, the ones that are sensitive in their fifis? I've got no guarantees on that. Oh boy. It looks like it might pour down, guys. So there you go. That is your astrology from the wonderful AstroBiz Digest, astro-weather. So do we want to do the mid-episode reading? Knowing that I have this list, this beautiful list of 100 and how many did I just say? There's my list. 125. Let me talk a little bit about this article and scroll through it a little bit for you guys. Let's see. Share screen. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, let me display it here. Yep, so it's right here. And we also do have this would be the link. So don't go there right now. You can go there after the show. Behind the scenes, my tarot deck library, or you can search it in the sidebar tarot deck library to be able to find it a little bit quicker than that. So the reason why I wrote this 11 years ago is because there's a variety of decks that I will bring to a tarot session, and sometimes I don't know. Especially with all of these folks here, go for the mid-episode reading. Well, we'll get into the mid-episode reading when I show you a little bit about the tarot deck. So they know, like most of my clients know, that I bring a variety of decks with me for a session, especially if it's like a one-on-one session. I never know what I'm going to need or what particular deck the client is going to want. And also, I will bring multiple decks because depending on the length of the session, the client may want to switch gears in the topic of their reading. And the easiest way to energetically accomplish this shift in the short time frame I have with the client is by moving on to a different deck than what they were using for the previous topic. So sometimes, if I'm shuffling the same deck for a completely different topic, it will still want to talk about that topic that we were just talking about. So this is a really quick and easy way to shift gears with one singular client to be able to tackle a different topic that they want to talk about or they want insight on. So, for example, I've had hour-long sessions with the client in which they've gone through at least 3 different decks, sometimes more. One deck to do the Celtic Cross, another deck to do a short reading Q&A session on a completely different topic, and then a third and final deck to wrap up with. And you know that this article is a little bit older because now in my tarot career, I will usually wrap up reading with an oracle deck, because in the past, it hasn't happened too often, but I've gotten like a big bad card or considered a big bad card as the last and final card of the reading, like the Tower card. Like, you can't wrap up a reading like that, and it kind of like is like a band-aid, and like ripping off a band-aid, you're starting to, like, instead of closing the loop on a session, you're like reopening it again. So I found oracle cards work a lot better for closing out a session. So that's what I do now. So how do I know which decks to bring to a client session? Sometimes I don't. I'll bring my tried and true decks like the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith or Legacy of the Divine, or I have my bag pre-packed from a previous session and I might like switch out the decks. I also think about the client that I'm reading for, whether or not they have personal preferences. And then sometimes, actually most of the time, I will also use my intuition and ask which deck they may need now at this very moment for this session. And sometimes I will have a client specifically request a deck. For parties, it depends on the party. I'll usually bring 2, if not 3 at the most, because there's usually not enough time for a guest to select the deck, then get the reading. Then I have to explain how tarot works if they're newer to tarot. So there are many different tarot decks in various themes and art styles. But I don't need to have that conversation with every single party goer. You know what I mean? It tends to muck up the works a little bit. So what follows is a comprehensive list, well, at the time of the writing, which was, again, 11 years ago, in alphabetical order of all the cartomancy decks I currently own, broken up into 3 categories: tarot, Lenormand, and other. When there are multiple decks with the same name, such as a steampunk tarot, I have specified the creators. So for the tarot list that we have here, I have A for Accurate AF Tarot, all the way through Z for the Zombie Tarot. For Lenormand, I have the Guilty Reverie Lenormand, all the way to the Siren Song Lenormand. I'm pretty sure, is this a comprehensive list of my Lenormand decks? I don't really have a lot of Lenormand decks, quite frankly. So, and then other, starting with the Deck of 1,000 Spreads, and ending with the Work Your Light Oracle deck. So other would be Oracle. So I'm probably going to update this with Tarot, Lenormand, Kipper, Oracle, other. Those would probably, and charm casting. Charm casting I might put in as Oracle though. So that is the list that I will be updating, because we certainly, and I didn't put a count either, because I was a coward. But that is the list that I'm going to be updating to include all 125 that I've currently counted as of the year 2026. All right. Let us do the mid-episode reading, in which one lucky viewer will win a free 3-card reading live here on the broadcast. And you can, in fact, choose which tarot deck you would like to be read from. So let's start this off, start the countdown. And the way to submit your name for the mid-episode reading is to comment tarot, Tarot. You have 3 minutes and 20 seconds to put your name into the proverbial hat. Yeah, friends, like, you're making me want to go through mine. You're welcome. And a reminder also that we do these every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on different metaphysical topics and unboxings, that sort of thing. That old chestnut. Let's see what... Some of these overlays are not loading, though. It's very interesting. So Stephanie has put her name into the lottery jar. I was trying to look for my cutesy overlay. There she is. There she wrote. Everyone loves the stars, so bringing back the stars overlay. And now that I've been jawing for this long, time to hydrate. Hydration station, y'all. By the way, Stephanie, I did see that speaking of hydration, the severed lime face mask that you had mentioned. I was just like, I ended up seeing that too, and I'm just like, oh shit, should I buy it from Liquid Death? Right now, I just got plain old water in my water drop bottle. Oh, hold on a second. Let me see. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. All right. Fran is also in the lottery jar. Yeah. Katie says, yes, my two favorite overlays, the star and the tree/logo. Yes, this is my official logo for my business. It was designed by Sarah Summerfield from, oh gosh, I'm not going to remember the name of her design studio, but so many eons ago, back in, I think it was back in 2011. Why do I have a logo for my tarot business? Because Teresa Reed told me to. That's why. Yes, we are. By the way, Stephanie says, if I was certain I was going to the kitchen table gathering in person, I'd bring you one, but I might be joining virtually. Yes. So thank you very much for bringing that up too. We listened, guys. We listened, and kitchen table gathering is happening. It is happening. We are also offering both in-person slots and virtual. So they're the same price for both, but so like, obviously if you're coming to St. Louis, you would have to take care of your flights and your lodgings, but if at any point you purchase a virtual ticket and you're able to come in person, we can easily switch you to an in-person seat, and vice versa. If you purchase an in-person ticket and then something comes up and you're not able to travel, we can switch it over to a virtual seat. Yeah. So, yes, we are having the kitchen table gathering. It is happening. Yes, Teresa is a wise business mentor. She sure is. Her number one business advice is treat your business like a business. Treat your business like a business. So excited. We are too. That's going to be like, oh gosh. So that's going to be the second tarot conference I'm teaching at this fall. Might be the third, actually. We'll see. All right, let's see who is the winner of the mid-episode reading tonight. Drum roll. And it is Stephanie. Stephanie, you're the winner. So go ahead and put both your question into the chat and also which deck you'd like to be read from. I also have the Crow Tarot, which is June's deck of the month for card of the day pulls. So I have that along with 124 other, well, not 124. So like, for example, the Travel Tarot game is in here. And all of my Oracle decks are in here too. Lenormand Charms, the Wildwood Tarot is in here. The Llewellyn Tarot as well. The Enchanted Tarot, Bonefire Tarot. We got a lot of decks to choose from. So, or you can say dealer's choice as well. But like, I have the box right next to me here, and then a box in the other room. I have a beautiful, beautiful trunk, black trunk with gold clasps that my mom found and paid $10 for because she thought of her tarot reading daughter and thought that would be beautiful to store my tarot decks in. So thank you, Mom. So that's in the living room as well. I haven't like cleared it out to start like packing up my tarot decks because I want to organize them first before I go ahead and put them in. So I gotta organize them first because it's a little bit of the Wild West right now. Oh, and speaking of the Wild West, guys, I don't know if any of you are on the Talk of Tick, but I did try out a live doing TikTok live and on the Clock app. I should probably just say the Clock app. And it was crazy, y'all. Like, talk about the Wild West. Like, that is the Wild West. And I was doing like rapid fire 1-card readings for people. And like, there was no time to like get into the nitty gritty. It was either like, okay, here's this card, like yes, no, maybe, okay, yes, and no, and, and just like, but like, hey, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the comments were just starting to fill up. So I'm just like, oh my God, 43 new comments. Okay, let's go. So it's a very, very different vibe to feral readings over on the gram of Insta and the mid-episode reading here. Very, very different vibe. So you got to think about the different platforms, what the different platforms want to be able to kind of like work with the algorithm rather than against the algorithm. It's like very, but it was kind of crazy, but it was really fun too. So if you happen to be on that particular platform, you can find me there as usual at Tarot by Hilary. Okay, so Stephanie says, yay, I am planning a big career pivot and leaving my corporate job to go solo. Just wondering what the outlook for that is looking like. Dealer's choice. Dealer's choice. Let me think. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even see what time it was. Okay, I'll meet you over there. I have to stop to check on my car first, though. I will. Everyone says hello. Sorry, had to interact with Mr. Tarot by Hilary. He's going out we're going out for the World Cup game, which happens later tonight. But we also need to go get Din. So, all right, dealer's choice, big career pivots. So like I was saying, with like the behind the scenes and the list and like their different tarot decks are going to work well for different topics. And sometimes it's like how the tarot deck was designed or what the intention was for the tarot deck. And other times you can kind of program your tarot deck to become good at certain topic readings. So For career, let's see, what do I got close to hand? Oh, we do. Waves to Mr. Tarot. All right, let's see here. So I'm here. Let me go through. I mean, quite frankly, I'm a little bit of a boring person, and I might just go with Radiant Rider-Waite Smith, which is my go-to. I also want to reorganize my decks because, quite frankly, I want to put my Animal Spirit Oracle in this particular bag because it just reminds me of like what the backs of the cards look like. So I might be doing a little bit of like shuffling tarot decks into different bags. Yeah, I'm a boring. Actually, you know what? Accurate AF. Don't miss. Accurate AF. Don't miss. It really is accurate AF. Now, I believe I have the first edition. Hold on, let me see if I can. Make this a little bit brighter. I don't think I charged that up properly. So Accurate AF is, I think it might have been the first edition that I have. So it has on the circumference of the cards, it is a circular deck. It has on the circumference of the cards keywords. And I don't think later editions have the keywords anymore on the circumference. So, which I think is kind of a shame because the way I like to read the Accurate AF is because it's circular. It's not going to be upright or reversed, right? It's circular. So usually the topmost keyword is how I read it. Oh yeah, okay. This baby be out of juice. Okay. My little mirror, cute little mirror with a light, vanity light that my sister got for me is crapping out because it was not meant to be used in that way. Let's see. Let's see how long my circular light lasts here. Okay, so planning big career pivot and leaving my corporate job to go solo. Wondering what the outlook for that is looking like. Yeah, exactly. Stephanie says, my edition had it. Okay. 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 Card number 1 is Queen of Wands. Narrow-minded is the keyword for that. Card number 2, Four of Swords. Detachment. And card number 3 is Good Fortune with the Wheel of Fortune. So what the outlook was going to be, I think the outlook is very, very good for the Wheel of Fortune to be coming up as the final outcome card, as the last card, especially it's coming up with the Good Fortune as the topmost keyword. But the cards leading up to it, it's just like, it just feels very, because it's such a big pivot and it just feels a little bit, I'm just going to turn this off. It's not doing anything. Because it's it's such a big pivot that there is this like there's this, how do I put this? There's this such discomfort there. And so the way like you're doing this, like whatever happens, you're doing this. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like the first two cards are like, this is how you can do it a little bit more cleanly. So like having the narrow minded, like for the Queen of Wands, and let me just show the Queen of Wands there. Having narrow-minded and impatience is the next keyword next to it. For that, it's just like I honestly think that it's not narrow-mindedness, but it's more about focus. That you're very, very focused. And because of that, and also she's your significator, okay, that makes a ton of sense. Because you have that narrow-mindedness of focus, you can then practice the detachment of the Four of Swords, because like you've been thinking about this for a really, really long time. So knowing that you've already put in the work of the upright meanings of restoration, contemplation, solitude, stillness, healing, to get to that point of detachment for leaving your corporate job. Because it's just like, it's almost like the writing is on the wall. And I've said this before, like when I've done those big leaps before in my own career, where I have left the safe choice to go with the unknown. People have asked me, 3 months later, 6 months later, 4 years later, like, how did you know? And it's just like, it's not about knowing or not knowing. It was simply, I was done. So there is great power in the detachment of the Four of Swords that's coming up for you. There is great power in being like, I'm done, like there's just like, I just like, it's neither positive nor negative. It's just being done and having that detachment. It's like a superpower, and then having the Wheel of Fortune come up with the good fortune keyword. Also, keep in mind, karma, cycles, elevation, good fortune. And also keep in mind, like, this is your year to do it, because the Wheel of Fortune is the general year card for 2026. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. And I love this particular Wheel of Fortune because it shows you the astrological wheel, the zodiac wheel. And let me see. Let's get even deeper into this. So good fortune rests right above Capricorn in this particular depiction of the Wheel of Fortune. Can we see that? Can we zoom in there? So it has that sense of practicality and groundedness that comes with Capricorn energy. And I'm allowed to say this. I know y'all know that I'm a card carrying Aries, and that's true, but my rising sign is Capricorn. And a lot of the time when people are first getting to know me, they see that practicality and they see that organization and they think Capricorn. I'm just like, that's my rising. That's my ascendant. So having that practicality along with good fortune, along with the Wheel of Fortune being this year's general year card, it's just like the timing could not be better right now. Not to say that it's all about timing, but it's just like, you have the information. You have the information that you needed, and there's no like additional information needed. You have everything you need, and to some degree it is about timing, and to some degree it's just about being done, right? Yeah, so it's a bit scary, but more exciting, yes. And knowing I have an exit plan certainly changes how I approach things at work right now. There is definitely a lot more detachment. LOL. Yeah, that's like I'm telling you, like that's a superpower right now, because it's just like, even if, oh really? I think that's also when I'm leaving, early January. Okay. Yeah. So Capricorn season is typically, um, end of December to January. I don't know. I don't know the exact, like, I'm not an astrologer. I know enough astrology to be dangerous. But yeah, that checks out. So yeah, like there's so like you might be in certain meetings and you're just like, uh-huh, okay. So like, and you're not saying anything out loud, but you're like in the back of your head, it's just like, oh, okay, so that initiative is like 2 years out. I won't be here for that. Cool. You know, like you're doing the, like, the math is mathing in your head, and it's just like, I'm not gonna have to worry about that. I'm gonna be long gone. I'm gonna be doing great. Does this help, Stephanie? Let me know. Just one additional card. I just flipped over the Three of Cups, and the keyword is celebration. So it's just like whatever you're doing right now, like even if you're not, you're not quite ready to do the exit yet, you know, there's little milestones that are leading you into this transition, and celebrate those milestones whenever you can. Now, it's not to say to spend unnecessarily. It's not to say that it's just like act as if you already have it, even though that there is a big part of that to manifestation is acting as if, or energetically aligning yourself to that goal. So it's just like when you raise the vibe, you're then vibration matching to this particular goal that you have, and then it can find you that much quicker. But also, like, you know, don't overspend if you don't have it, but act as if it's happening. Like you're just like, it's happening. Yeah, all of my own readings have pushed me towards this path, but having outside confirmation is very comforting. Yes, you're very, very welcome. Yeah, and I know there's like, yeah, there's so much, and there's so much to do. Absolutely. Yeah, there is a lot to do, and I don't know what the nature it is of what you're looking to pursue. But this is definitely like having the Wheel of Fortune card come up as the final outcome. It's a really, really good sign. And having the detachment as well. It's just like that is your way to kind of guide yourself into it, you know? Because detachment is just detachment, you know? Like it's not, um, so many people see it as a negative, right? And it's just like, it's not a and it's not neither positive nor negative. It's just being detached. Like you don't have the almost the skin in the game, and any energy that you have is going towards this venture, and not entangling yourself even more in a place that you know mentally and internally that you're leaving, you know? So it's just like, gotcha. Do you still need the right name to come to me? Because so far, for the like dozen plus I've come up with, are already taken. Well, we can talk about that privately too. So, well, I hope that helped you, Stephanie. Congratulations on being the winner of tonight's mid episode reading. I know that is an act of vulnerability to be read for in a public space, and I appreciate you for doing that. And for all of those of you who would have liked to do the mid episode reading, you just have to tune in again next week. We'll do it again, I promise. But also, if you can't wait that long, you can always book a reading with me. Tarotbyhilary.com is the only place to book a reading with me. I have email readings, I have phone readings, I have Zoom readings, and I have in-person readings as well. And since we're advertising, we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And a reminder, while we take down the comment snake and the lottery jar, a reminder to follow, click the bell for notifications. of when I go live, and also, if I add a video to the channel. Um, Follow, please, subscribe, click the bell, all the things. Okay? Okay. All right. You're very welcome, Stephanie. And Katie says, good luck with it, Stephanie. Everyone's wishing you luck. Okay, let's do the weekend forecast. Because goodness knows I got plenty of Oracle cards as well. Even though we have been rocking with the Mega Deck lately, the Mega Deck is not as close to hand as usual. So I might grab something completely different, guys. Because I feel like I want to do the Green Witch Oracle, which I swear I just saw. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I understand. Conserving finances for this change is a reason I will likely only be doing virtual for a KTG, kitchen table gathering. Of course, we understand. We get it. Of course. All right. Let's do the weekend forecast. And I also have the Sigil Witchery Oracle here. Aha! Green Witch Oracle. Not too far away. I got it, guys. So for tonight's weekend forecast, we are going to use the Green Witches Oracle deck by Erin Murphy Hiscock, who is the author of the Green Witch book, and illustrated by Sarah Richard. All right. What do we need to know for this weekend? Besides it being hot as balls. It's really warm in here. It's really, really warm in here. What do we need to know for this weekend? All right. The Oracle card for this weekend is So, planning, setting intentions, and optimism. Green Witch sounds wonderful. It is. It really, really is. So I will hold it up once I find it. Hold on. Oh, good. An index. That's helpful. Okay. So our card for this weekend is So, planning, setting intentions, and optimism. Seeds may be the nebulous concept, and soil the fertile ground to nourish them. But the act of sowing is what unites the two and initializes the process of germination. When you sow seeds, you scatter them in or on the earth, asking the soil to help them grow. For a time, the seeds have to remain quiet underground before they can launch into the world. This dormancy allows them the opportunity to gather strength. The Sow card tells you that now is the optimal time to set things in motion. Plant your seeds and nurture them. Lock in your intentions and take the first steps along the path you've planned. Act now for future yield. Prime your material and environment for the best outcome. If you've been hesitating, now is the time to act. Are you ready to start something new? So that is your weekend forecast from the Green Witches Oracle deck. Thank you all so much for watching and for being patient with me as I count all of my different tarot decks for which to read for you. Again, we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come join us again next week, won't you? Until then, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Let's go, Knicks. And I will see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.